I understand if there's a call of nature, if you feel that you must go and relieve your bladder, please do it. Okay, I don't want to be responsible for any replaced chairs here. Is everybody having a good time here at SpaceCon? I'm glad. What? Do I need to lose that? No, just keep it there. So I just finished doing a play 2 weeks ago. I played a 75-year-old man. Very depressing. I did The Sunshine Boys by Neil Simon. Do you know this show? The Sunshine Boys, a classic Neil Simon comedy about two old vaudeville comedians who now hate each other and can't get along, and they have to reunite on a television special. I had a tremendous time. It made me want to do more theater, so that's in the planning. I also... what else have I been doing? I'm also going back on The Mentalist in a couple of weeks. I'll be shooting that again. Hey. But I thought I would, I don't know, I just thought I would talk to you a little bit just, about the doctor. Do we miss the doctor? I miss the doctor. You know, the doctor, as you remember, was a computer program and designed for emergency medical use. Then an episode came along where it turned out that the doctor, it was called Blink of an Eye, where the doctor went down to a planet and in a few minutes he lived a whole lifetime and he had a child. Then there was another episode where the doctor brags to EMH Mark II about having had sexual relations. So I said to the producers, I said, wait a minute, guys. How did I miss this detail? Right? We introduced me as the initially activated new piece of technology. We spend every week with me aboard Voyager, and then a couple of years in, I'm bragging about how I've had sexual relations. How did we miss that? Did you feel that way? And besides, how does a computer program designed for emergency medical use, why would you give him the necessary equipment? I mean, what kind of emergency medical procedures are you thinking about? Right? I mean, why? So when when the producers couldn't tell me how or why it happened that the doctor had upgraded his program, being the method actor that I am, I decided I would make up the backstory. The backstory is when you have a character and when you act, you imagine what the character's history was. Well, when the doctor was born, when he first appeared in Voyager in the pilot, he had no backstory because he was a newly activated piece of technology. But somehow, in the backstory that no one had told me about, the doctor had intimate relations. Not with one of you guys, but it wasn't a bad idea. And in any case, I decided to, that was when I decided to write a book. I decided to write the Hologram's Handbook so I would have fun with the doctor's history and his worldview. And basically, it was a self-help book. If you're an advanced artificial intelligence, it's how to get along with stupid people. Something we all need, right? For that person at work or that person at home, it just teaches you how to get along with people that are just far inferior to you. Well, one of the chapters of the Hologram's Handbook is chapter 10, I think. It's called Anatomical Correctness, the Program Upgrade of Kings. So here is the story of how the doctor got his upgrade. I was supposed to petition, I go into the doctor's voice. Do you remember how the doc sounded a little fruity and sort of delightful, delighted all the time, and rather breathless? Do you remember? Like that. All right. I was supposed to petition my captain for this and any other new systems upgrade. The delicate nature of this particular request did not deter me. I proposed countless scenarios to her in which the benefit that I would derive from first-hand intimate experience would prove invaluable to my understanding and treatment of future patients, particularly their sexual disorders. Captain Janeway seemed quite convinced after scenario number 26. and felt that hearing the remaining 187 wasn't necessary for her to make her decision. Permission was granted, and Lieutenant Torres was assigned to implement the upgrade. I offered a few suggestions, and was a little miffed to find that B'Elanna, who had recently begun dating Tom Paris, had her own modest design parameters in mind. Having prided myself in my unique individuality, I was understandably reluctant to be assigned my newest feature without regard for my opinion and taste. Nonetheless, I was relatively satisfied with the outcome, and the first dozen or so tests on the holodeck that afternoon proved successful. I might also add that the complete control over my program protocols, which Captain Janeway entrusted to me several years ago, extends quite logically to all of my appearance parameters, even those not normally in evidence. B'Elanna's lack of regard for my suggestions is now a distant memory, as I have suggested and approved several upgrades to myself in the interim. Thank you. That was 40 seconds of penis jokes without saying the word penis. That's not easy to do. That's the kind of challenge I embrace. Thank you. That is from the Hologram's Handbook, which I have in audiobook fashion on my table, and part of the proceeds benefit the Pediatric AIDS Foundation, as all of my CDs have for 15 years. Thank you. So if you miss the doctor and you have a CD player in your car and you have a drive that's more than 20 minutes, there you go. Do you have a question or two for me? I have other things that I plan to do, but if you have a question, please pop out. Yes, sir. Do I have any tricks to learn how to memorize lines? Very good question. When I did the play that I just spoke of, The Sunshine Boys, I play the leading character. I'm on stage almost every moment of the play. And I had 2 weeks to rehearse it, which is a very short rehearsal period because it was a summer stock production, excuse me. So I had to memorize at least 2/3 of the lines before I even arrived for the first day of rehearsal. And there are tricks that I learned on Star Trek that I had never done. I've been an actor, I don't know, probably 25 years when I started Star Trek, or almost 25 years already, because now I'm hitting, I think I'm close to 40 years as an actor professionally. And I did develop special techniques of breaking down the lines. I started putting little scan lines in so that I would do word groups so that I could memorize very quickly. Because on Star Trek, my character, being a computer program, I could not vamp for a line. I had to know it cold. When I was speaking about a piece of medical information, when I was talking about my area of expertise, I had to spew information because I was a computer program. The fact that I even spoke out loud when I was alone in sickbay was perhaps the stupidest thing on Voyager. Why would I speak out loud? I'm reading my memory. If I'm a computer program, I'm reading the memory every second I've been given a problem. I don't have to verbalize it. But on the other hand, how interesting would it be to see a character like mine thinking about how to attack a medical problem when this is what you saw all the time? You know, that would have been it, right? It'd be like I pose the problem mentally, and then I answer the problem, and then I move to the next problem. But that's not much fun to watch. Exactly. But so the fact that the doctor would have soliloquies was a little silly to begin with. But I had to learn how to speak the language absolutely at a breakneck pace, because the moment you're a computer program and you kind of pause and look like you don't quite know what you're going to say next. You know, in regular conversation, we might muse and formulate an idea. But if the doctor was spewing information, it made no sense for him to go, well, that I was dead the moment I did that. So I had to learn it cold. And I was never very good at reading cheat sheets the way some actors could. Robert Beltran could write a line and put it in the bottom of a coffee cup. and then he would look and read the line while he was taking a sip of coffee. I could never do that. On the other hand, and the doctor didn't drink coffee because he couldn't eat or drink, so that killed that idea for me anyway. So I did develop memory tricks on Star Trek I'd never used before, and it involved word groups. It involved acronyms where if I couldn't remember a certain line, I would pick key letters. I would look for the clue of the next line in the end of the line before it. Often it was the same vowel. If the line ended with a word where the final syllable had an O in it, and O was the first letter of the next line. I mean, I did all these stupid tricks so that I had something in the back of my mind that gave me a clue as to what the next line was. And it's worked throughout my career. I still memorize pretty well for a guy who's hitting 60 this year. So memory is an important thing to exercise. I used to take ginkgo biloba, but then I couldn't remember why I was taking it. Seriously, anything you can do to maintain your memory is a good thing. Was there another question? Because I don't remember. Oh, yes. Only in my mind. There was a great deal of thought devoted in my trailer to Seven and I getting together. Well, let's face it. I think Jerry Ryan is 14 years younger than I am, and her character probably looked even younger than that. But I think it was great that they had that wonderful student-teacher relationship. It was kind of a sham that in the final episode she suddenly ran off with Chakotay. I thought that was not fair. But and I thought the fact that the producers just gave me another leggy blonde as a wife in the last episode was a little cheesy too. But what are you going to do? In my mind, Jerry and the Doctor and Seven of Nine ended up together, and they were teaching, sort of a futuristic Masters and Johnson sexual surrogacy class at Starfleet in the future. Anyway, yes, right here. My favorite episode, my favorite funny one was Tinker Tenor, Dr. Spy, with the Doctor's fantasy life, where they actually said, the producers called me on the phone and said, what kind of fantasies would the Doctor have? And I said, sketching of Seven of Nine in the nude. I think the fact that I didn't even have to think about it was probably very revealing. And I said it as a joke, but of course they put it in the show. I wanted to do a joke on that in the future in a show that featured Jerry, where she went to the holodeck, and the Doctor was in like a 19th century art class. No, she went to speak to another character on board. I don't know, Harry Kim or whatever, who was in a holodeck program taking an art class, and there was a nude male there, and then had that turn out to be the Doctor at the end. I thought that would be ridiculous for the Doctor to be posing naked. Clearly, I've been begging to be naked my entire life. Absolutely no takers whatsoever. What are you going to do? I guess they figured we didn't want to really see what that upgraded program looked like. I'm going to do, in order to really wake you guys up now that it's midday and get you all primed for the rest of the day, I thought we would do a sing-along together, okay? You and I are going to sing together. And it's a song that you'll remember from Star Trek because it was one of your favorites, I think, a duet with Jerry Ryan. So could you play number 6, please? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call the Stalker theme song. You know it as You Are My Sunshine. But wait a minute, before you play the music, give me 1 second. This song is thought of as sort of a sweet love song. Listen to some of these lyrics, okay? I'll always love you and make you happy if you will only say the same. But if you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all someday. Isn't that a sweet one? Here's another good one. You told me once, dear, you really loved me, and no one else could come between. But now you've left me to love another. You have shattered all my dreams. It's a really depressing song, right? Let's sing it together. All right, number 6, please. Wait, first it's me. I'll tell you when to come in. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and cried. Come on. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my son. All right, here comes the creepy one. I'll always love you and make you happy if you will only say the same. But if you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really loved me, and no one else could come between. But now you've left me to love another. You have shattered all my dreams. Big finish now. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. All right. Thank you. You are very good. You're a game crowd. A game crowd means you're willing to do everything, right? We'll find out about that. Do you have other questions? Any other? You're crying. You were so moved. You're crying? She's crying. She was so touched by that, by the Stalker theme song. It reminded her of all the stalkers in her life and how she misses them now. You don't really miss them, do you? What? One of them ended up with her? Is that what you said? That would have been you. One guy stalked her successfully, and now he's by her right now. Isn't that sweet? Did you have a question over here? Yes, sir. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, the cowboy is probably my favorite role in a feature film. If you ever saw the movie Inner Space with Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, I play this weird technology thief from some strange country, the accent we don't recognize. He seems to be North African. When I got the part, I said I wanted to look like Muammar Gaddafi because he'd been on the cover of Time magazine. This was in the early 80s, and it was the first time we hated him. He came back later, you know, so I brought his picture in, and I had to make me a really frizzy, kind of a, you know, afro wig. I had very dark skin and a gold tooth. It's a very strange character, and I improvised most of those lines because the character only had 2 or 3 lines. When I'm trying to pick Meg Ryan up at the bar, I wanted to create a portrait of a man that was every woman's nightmare at a bar. The kind of guy that would sidle up to a woman and say something that he felt was clever and just was the worst thing that had ever happened to that woman. So my favorite pickup line, my favorite bad pickup line, which I made up to Meg Ryan, I'm lighting a cigar, and I say, "Women love me. But you know that." Right? Being a woman. So, and I also, in one scene, I appear in I appear naked except in bikini snakeskin briefs that match the tips of my boots. I wanted a snakeskin crotch because I thought, by God, if I'm going to appear nearly naked in a movie, I want to look good. So I got the snakeskin bikini briefs that I believe I still have today. In fact, I have them on. No, but that was a fun part, and I've had. You know, Joe Dante has been very good to me over the years. I've played a gallery of weird characters for him, most of which I have pictures of. Going back to The Howling, when I played the werewolf killer in that. Another sweet movie of his is Matinee with John Goodman. I like that. I play a theater owner at a movie theater during the Cuban Missile Crisis who's convinced that the attack has begun. So he's been very good to me, and a lot of my fun parts have come in that. But one role that I'm really proud of from my television career, many of you are old enough to remember, I think, China Beach, the Vietnam drama. I played opposite Dana Delaney. She was the principal character in the show, and Marg Helgenberger, who went on, of course, to CSI fame. China Beach premiered 25 years ago, and it has finally come out in a full deluxe box set from Time Life Video, with all these new features and 2 hours of new of reunion footage. And they're going to honor us in a couple of weeks. September 13th, they're going to honor us at the Museum of Broadcasting in California. The whole series and the whole cast is going to get together again. Because this fall, the show will come out season by season, starting in September, at stores everywhere. Which is kind of cool because China Beach was one of those shows that had all that great 1960s music in it, and they couldn't release the show on DVD or even replay it on television the last 15 years because they had never made a deal back then that extended beyond 5 years or whatever for reuse of the music, because no one ever anticipated selling a television show in the mid to late 80s. So that's why China Beach was tied up in a legal wrangle, and finally Time Life Video invested $1 million to secure the rights to the music, and it's finally coming out. So if you never saw China Beach, I'm really proud of it. It's terrific. It's timeless. It pays homage to the veterans of a war that was very unpopular in this country, and we, of course, made the tragic mistake that we will never repeat of blaming the soldiers for an unpopular war that they fought and sacrificed to fight in. So, thank you. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna be introducing the next piece of programming in about 2 or 3 minutes. Do you have a final question or two? Yes. The question was the difference in playing Woolsey versus the Doctor, Woolsey on Stargate. Mr. Woolsey, as I'm sure you probably know, was designed to be a one-off character. He was designed to come in as a bad guy in Heroes Part 2. He was an excuse, really, to pump the Heroes show into a 2-part episode. So they needed someone to come in and reference enough stuff so that they could have reuse of clips that you'd already seen. They wanted something. I was hired to be filler material. That's what I was. And I was hired to be I was a dick. I was a mean guy who came in to assign blame for the tragedy of their doctor's death on the show. But then the producers liked me, and they painted themselves in a corner by introducing me as such a jerk. So every time they brought me back, there would be some slight glimmering of hope that the character wasn't as bad as we thought. You know, he starts off as a dick, and then he was brought back as a dick who means well. And then the next time he's a dick who means well, who at least knows he's a dick. And then he's a dick who means well, who knows he's a dick, but still has a little bit of a sense of humor. And then they kept building these qualities into the characters so that the audience would start having sympathy for him. And then eventually they offered me the command of the expedition, which was crazy and made no sense. But you guys followed along, and ultimately it turned out to be the redemption of a human being. Anyway, I like to think that the next group is backstage. I'm not sure they are, but I'm going to introduce Jason David Frank and for the Megaforce Q&A. Is Jason here? I didn't see if he went back. Is he? Manu? Do you have something that I should know? Oh, no, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to introduce the next panel in just a minute. If anyone needs a bathroom break or they're dying to get a Twinkie. Yes, because Twinkies are back. You know that? Twinkies like Star Trek have been rebranded and we're back stronger than ever. Except Star Trek is better for you. And Star Trek has no hydrogenated oil. But Star Trek has a lot of recycled materials. You know that. All right. Yes. I am going to be in a panel. Yeah, I just wanted to be alone so that I could embarrass myself without other people having to watch. Except for you. All right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, again, we're going to be starting the next panel in just a minute, but as you're getting seated, I will finish this question, so feel free to move around at your own discretion. I'm proud of my contribution to the franchise. I loved playing my character. I didn't know how cool a character I had gotten when I first got the role, because I didn't understand Star Trek well enough to realize that as the artificial intelligence character, he had that much potential to grow. Pretty much by the end of the series, all of the actors agreed that I'd had the best character simply because of the arc that was, you know, it was impossible to have a longer arc than that because I started as a blank slate. So I'm grateful for that experience. I'm happy that I didn't know I had such a good role when I went in because it was a delight as it unfolded before me. Had I gone in with the expectations of, damn it, I've got the best part in the show, then I might have had a different attitude. But it was all just a gift to me as far as I was concerned. All right, we're going to start now. Thank you for that. Just so we stay on schedule, because schedule is everything, as you know.